What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing very well. Grab your coffee. We're going to throw some music in the background, so let me know what you think about that. Shouldn't be too loud, though. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. So, listen. We're going to talk about the Enhancement Shaman changes that have happened again. I am going to do another Dragonflight video, I think, later today, so don't worry about that. We will get one of those out as well. But I do want to just talk about the Enhancement Shaman changes that have come through from Blizzard once again, because they're massive. They are a massive, big deal. They have not come through in the actual game, and they're not in the talent trees on Wowhead. So they're coming probably like next Tuesday is very likely what's going on there. So I'm going to talk about the blue post that came out. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to go back to the talent tree and kind of show you what that kind of means for Enhancement Shaman. But all in all, the changes I would say are pretty good, guys, and they're basically bringing an emphasis back for Enhancement Shaman on Storm Strike and Wind Fury and physical damage, which is not something that has been a real centerpiece for Enhancement Shaman in the last, for all of Shadowlands. It wasn't for the very beginning of Shadowlands with Doomwinds, but since Doomwinds fell out in like 9.2, it's just been all about, Hot Hands and Lava Lash and Fire Nova and Mastery, scaling that kind of damage, and the physical side of Enhancement Shaman has fell by the wayside. So let's see exactly what's going on with this this new blue post. Let me just jump over here. Get this back up. Okay. Oh, that's pretty big. Let's shrink that a little bit. Okay, so I'll move over here actually really quick. Okay, let's look at this really quick. So Enhancement Shamans. Some changes are coming to the build that you will receive next week, and we wanted to discuss that here. So here we go. Stormbringer, which is your chance to reset the cooldown on Storm Strike and cause it to do more damage. Is just something that starting at level 10 as an Enhancement Shaman alongside your Mastery. So right now, they've got Stormbringer, where is it? Here? Down here. There it is. Special attacks have a 6.7% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Storm Strike, cause your next Storm Strike to deal 25% additional damage, so as nature damage. So, that's a buff there. Oh, wait. They've baked these in. These are completely wrong right now. Don't worry about it, guys. But it gives it a chance to reset its cooldown, and it buffs its damage. So they're removing this, and they're just baking it into the tree baseline, okay, which is good. Let me go back to here. So you just know this now starting at level 10, which is very good. That's what they should have done from the get-go. I'm glad they're finally kind of getting wiser to that. Now, new 1-point talent in Stormbringer's spot, right where I just showed you on the tree there. Storm's Wrath. Increases the Mastery bonus chance for Stormbringer and Wind Fury to activate by 100%. This is a multiplier, not additive. So, as you saw in the tree over here, it says it has a 6.4% chance. Let me jump over here. So, this has a 6.7% chance. If you get more Mastery, it scales up your chance of proccing Stormbringer. Again, this is baseline now. So right here in this place is going to say Storm's Wrath. It increases the Mastery bonus chance for Stormbringer and Wind Fury by 100%. So it essentially doubles your chance. It's not adding a 100% chance for Stormbringer, for your special attacks to proc Storm Strike. That's not what it's doing. It's doubling whatever chance you currently have. Okay? So I have a 6.7% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Storm Strike. That now goes to like a 13% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Storm Strike. That's what the blue post means. It's a multiplier. It's not additive. So that's still very strong. It's very good, guys. I promise you. Like, I'm playing around with this in Dragonflight right now, and like I'm proccing my Stormbringer all the time. If I take all the Storm Strike talents, it's proccing all the time right now, and I don't even, this change hasn't even gone live yet. So this is a very interesting change that I think is going to be very strong for a Storm Strike build, and that's a good thing now because there's a bunch of other talents that are now going to support a Storm Strike playstyle. So let's look at that. Note, This only increases the bonus proc chance from mastery, which is 0.64% without any gear, and does not affect the elemental damage bonus from mastery. So again, they're just saying like if you saw in the game right there, my chance was 6.7%. That is what gets doubled. It doesn't increase the bonus damage that you get from mastery, which is the other half of the enhancement shaman mastery. So we're only increasing the chance to reset the cooldown on Stormstrike. That's all we're doing there. But it's still very good. Don't get me wrong. Improved Maelstrom weapon is now a 2-rank node, up from 1 with the same total benefit. So that looks like a nerf. Focus Maelstrom has been removed, and Raging Maelstrom is now has the Focus Maelstrom effect built right in. So let's just jump back to this really quickly, and I'll show you. So improved Maelstrom weapon is now 2 points instead of 1. So that's like, oh man, that feels like a nerf. Except that they're removing Raging Maelstrom. So instead of putting 2 points into both these talents, you can put just 2 points into improved Maelstrom weapon. And on top of that, focused Maelstrom. Sorry. No, Raging Maelstrom. Focused Maelstrom got removed. This part got removed. Maelstrom weapon now increases its damage or healing by an additional 5%. That's gone now. It's baked into Raging Maelstrom. So Raging Maelstrom stays. So now you could put 2 points into improved Maelstrom weapon, 1 point into Raging Maelstrom, and Raging Maelstrom will now do what Focused Maelstrom did as well. So it gives you Maelstrom weapon can now stack up to 5 additional times, and each bonus goes up by 5%, right? So Maelstrom weapon now increases the damage or healing of spell effects by an additional 5%, okay? So it's that was kind of complicated there, but improved Maelstrom weapon is now 2 points. Raging Maelstrom now has this talent baked right into it, and it's still 1 point. Very, very good, okay? Let's go back to the article. It says a fair number of talents on the right-hand side have rows 4 to 8 have been shifted around in position. So we'll talk about that in a second. Lashing Flames is now added as a talent on the right side of the tree. Very cool. It's good to see Lashing Flames coming back. So let me go back to this again really quick. So this means that it's saying row 4 to 8. So row 1, 2, 3. This is row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's these rows right here. And they're saying the rows on the right-hand side of the tree. These positions have all been kind of moved around a little bit. And Lashing Flames is coming in here. So this is the reason that all these are getting moved is because Lashing Flames is being added probably somewhere up here. Lashing Flames, of course, says that whenever you lava lash something, you double the damage of the flame shock that you can apply on that target. So this is I love this. It's a really fun play style, in my opinion, for Enhancement Shaman, and it is an insane amount of damage. It's insane the amount of damage you can pull off because you basically press flame shock and you lava lash that target. Now you have flame shocks on 5 targets, and then if you get a hot hand proc right here, you can just tab target and go lava lash, lava lash, lava lash, lava lash, lava lash. Now 5 targets have double damage flame shocks ticking on them. It does a tremendous amount of damage, okay? So they're moving a bunch of these talents around, and the other reason that they're doing this, guys, in my opinion, is because of Swirling Maelstrom. Swirling Maelstrom says that Ice Strike and Fire Nova grant you 2 stacks of Maelstrom weapon, but Ice Strike is in the way of Swirling Maelstrom. Like, you don't want to be forced into taking Ice Strike to get the Fire Nova benefit. So I'm assuming that they're going to keep this choice node up here of Fire Nova or Ice or Hailstorm, and then they're probably going to move Ice Strike, like, over here maybe into the middle area or something, and have Swirling Maelstrom come up a little bit so that you can go directly from Fire Nova to Swirling Maelstrom. Does that make sense? So I think that's what they mean when they say that they're going to move a bunch of these talents around. Okay, let's go back here. Get this back up. So let's look at it a little more. Alpha Wolf now procs from either Crash Lightning or Chain Lightning, rather than just Chain Lightning. So originally, this procced off of Crash Lightning. Then they switched it to proc off of Chain Lightning. Now they're switching it again to proc off of both. This is an amazing buff to Alpha Wolf, and it's just like, it's going to be actually incredible AoE now, because Alpha Wolf, as if you guys know, it makes your wolves do uncapped AoE, essentially. So whenever your feral spirits are active, Chain Lightning and Crash Lightning now will cause your wolves to attack all nearby enemies within 8 yards. Sorry, no, just all nearby enemies for the next 8 seconds. That's a long time for them to do that. So again, This is about the Witch Doctor Wolfbone's playstyle, getting your wolves cooled down as quickly as possible, getting as many wolves out as you possibly can, and then pressing Crash Lightning and Chain Lightning and having them attack all nearby enemies. Like, the Alpha Wolf buff will be up all the time. So this is really, really good quality of life here for Alpha Wolf. I love this. Okay, big change here. Legacy of the Frost Witch is coming in. Obviously, it's in the game right now, and it's basically it's in the state that it was in Shadowlands, and most people didn't really like it. It was good in early Shadowlands when we didn't have a lot of haste, but now it's kind of a redundant legendary. Let's see what it does now. Legacy of the Frost Witch has had its design adjusted. It still has 2 ranks. Every 10 stacks of Maelstrom weapon consumed resets the cooldown on Stormstrike and increases the damage of your physical abilities by 5 or 20% for 5 seconds. This is crazy. This is like a new capstone node for physical damage for Enhancement Shaman, okay? And along with that is going to be the new Feral Spirit change, which I'll get to in a minute, but Legacy is now an incredibly good talent. So let's go back to gameplay really quick and let me just talk about it. Right now, Legacy says... Sorry, let me just move this over here so I can see things. Legacy says, consuming 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon will reset the cooldown on Stormstrike, cause your next Stormstrike to deal more damage. So, again, it's fine. It actually plays into the Stormstrike playstyle. But this now, instead, says you have to consume 10 stacks of Maelstrom weapon, and then it will buff your physical attacks by 20% if you put 2 points into it. All physical damage. What does this include? This includes auto attacks. This includes Wind Fury procs. This includes Doom Winds. It does physical damage up front and then also increases your chance to proc Wind Fury weapon dramatically. Okay. I would assume this includes Elemental Blast, but I don't actually know about that. I think Elemental Blast counts as Fire, Frost, and Nature, not physical. So probably does not count for Elemental Blast. It also includes Storm Strike. And all of these Storm Strike procs that we're going to be getting, including the proc from Storm Flurry, it also includes Ascendance, because Ascendance turns your auto attacks into wind strikes, and your Storm Strike turns into Wind Strike. So this now buffs not just Storm Strike, but it buffs Wind Fury, Doom Winds, Storm Strike, and Wind Strike, and your auto attacks, which become wind attacks, which also bypass armor. But that's all physical damage. Right now, for Enhancement Shaman, this is not part of their kit that they get buffed in any way. You can't buff your physical damage right now for Enhancement Shaman. You can only buff your Fire, Frost, and Nature damage from your Mastery. But now, they're giving you a reason to invest in Mastery because of the way that they're changing Stormbringer. Now it's going to have, it's going to be called Storm's Wrath, which it's going to double the chance that your Storm Strike will reset and it will do more damage. You can take Storm Flurry, you can take Storm Blast, you can take Doom Winds, you can take Ascendance, and you can go down into the Thorum's Invocation stuff, which again, this really doesn't have anything to do with physical damage, but Legacy now is a new capstone node for physical damage for Enhancement Shaman. You can do 20% more physical damage for 5 seconds. So your Ascendance doing damage, your Doom Winds doing damage, your Wind Fury, and your auto attacks are all going to be 20% stronger because of this change to Legacy. This is an amazing change that really is going to solidify Legacy again as this physical archetype that's coming back for Enhancement Shaman, something that we haven't seen in years, and I think it's going to be really exciting. I think the change to Legacy is really cool. Continuing to support the physical side of Enhancement Shaman is this last change, which is absolutely monumental. It's completely crazy. So let's take a look at it. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Sorry, this hasn't been zoomed in already. Feral Spirits and Elemental Spirits have been adjusted. Okay, get ready for this. Each Feral Spirit type, now grants you 15% damage to the related element. Normal Feral Spirits count as physical. Okay, I need you guys to understand how this works. If you take Elemental Spirits, okay, where'd that go? Sorry. If you take Elemental Spirits, which is down here, okay, that makes your Feral Spirits imbued with Fire, Frost, and Lightning damage. It, as far as I understand, it will cancel your normal dogs and turn them into Elemental dogs. So what it means is that means is that if you take elemental spirits, you can't benefit for your physical spells like your auto attacks, Wind Fury, Ascendance, and Storm Strike. But you can benefit your fire spells, your nature spells, and your frost spells, which of course is like Frost Shock, Hailstorm, Fire Nova, Lava Lash, all that stuff, right? So let's go back and read this again really quickly, because this is important to understand. Each Feral Spirit type grants you 15% damage to the related element. Normal Feral Spirits do give you physical. So if you don't take Elemental Spirits, if you take Alpha Wolf instead, you'll have normal dogs out all the time. And each one of those normal dogs will be giving you 15% more damage to physical damage. So both dogs out is 30% more physical damage. On top of the Legacy of the Frost Witch buff, which is giving you 20% more physical damage. That's 50% more physical damage. Okay? On auto attacks, on Wind Fury procs, on Storm Strike, and on Ascendance damage. Now, let's keep reading. The extra frost damage from the Frosty Feral Wolf has been removed, but Frosty Feral Spirits now increase your frost damage by 15%. That is a straight-up buff to the Frost one. I'll talk about that in a second. The extra Lava Lash damage from Fire Feral Spirits has been removed. You're now just doing 15% more fire damage, which is really, really good. Which, again, is probably a slight nerf to the Lava Lash damage, but it's a buff to the fire damage all across the board. Now, let's look at the implications of this. If you take Alpha Wolf for Enhancement Shaman, it says while Feral Spirits are active, Chain Lightning and it's going to be and Crash Lightning now will cause your wolves to attack all nearby enemies. Those are physical wolves now. Okay? Summon Spirit Wolves that aid you in battle. They generate one stack of Maelstrom weapon immediately, and then they're going to do physical damage because they attack the enemies and do physical damage. So here's my understanding of this now. You can take a Legacy of the Frost Witch build with this new regular Feral Spirits and take... You don't even have to take Alpha Wolf if you don't want to. You could just take Witch Doctor Wolf Bones and get the cooldown on your wolves back really, really quickly. You could take all the Storm Strike buffs. So let's look at that really quick. So you could take Storm Flurry. You take the new Stormbringer. It's going to be called Storm's Wrath. You take Storm Blast. You take Elemental Assault. 20% more Storm Strike damage, 25% chance to strike again, higher chance to proc Storm Strike, getting it back. Stormbringer makes Storm Strike do additional nature damage. You're going to be taking that with Legacy now, which Legacy will now buff your physical damage by 20%, and then you're going to have your regular Feral Spirits with Witch Doctor Wolf Bones. So you summon your Feral Spirits, you now have 30% more physical damage. You get your Legacy of the Frost Witch proc, you now have 50% more physical damage. You can proc Doom Winds, Sundering. Also counts as a physical spell. It's physical and fire. That's what Flame Strike damage means. So Sundering does more physical damage. Doom Winds does more physical damage. Wind Fury does more physical damage. Storm Strike does more physical damage. And Ascendance does more physical damage. And it's all buffed by Legacy and your regular Feral Spirits that are going to be out. And you're cooling them down with Witch Doctor Wolf Bones. That's insane. Now, if you want to go the other direction, you want to go for an elemental build, you can scrap all this stuff and take Lava Lash, take Primal Lava Actuators, take Hot Hands, take Fire Nova or Hailstorm. I would encourage you to take Hailstorm. Take Ice Strike. And now, with Elemental Spirits, depending on which wolves are out, you're going to get 15% more damage to Fire or Frost or Nature damage. And, of course, Crash Lightning and Chain Lightning do nature damage. So you could take Crashing Storms, get Crash Lightning damage going. You could take Primordial Wave, which now does elemental damage, which means it's going to benefit from any of the wolves that you have out. Elemental Blast does elemental damage, so it's going to benefit from any of the elemental wolves that you have out. Okay. This does say shadow damage on. I hope they change it. They had it being elemental damage. I hope they change it back. Anyway. Then the Primordial Wave is also going to generate lots of Maelstrom weapon stacks for you. That's aside the point. But basically, you can have two separate builds here now. You can go with Elemental Spirits here and have your Fire, Frost, and Nature damage buffed. You're going to be spawning lots of dogs still because of Witch Doctor Wolf Bones. You don't take Legacy now. You would take, and you wouldn't take Elemental Assault. Instead, you could go into Ascendance if you want to be spewing out those lightning bolts and those chain lightnings, or you can go for Primordial Wave to get the huge haste buff and be doing a bunch of getting the reset on your dogs much more quickly and buffing your fire and your frost and your nature damage. So that is what you're going to be capable of doing, guys. I think like it's really, really important to understand now that there are two distinct builds that Blizzard wants us to work with here now. So there's a physical build now with the dogs and with Legacy of the Frost Witch and Stormstrike, and there's an elemental build which dips into elemental spirits. You're going to want to take elemental weapons, and you're going to want to do a fire and frost build or a fire and lightning build with crash lightning, chain lightning. I mean, you're going to be casting those spells anyway, so you're going to be getting the benefit from whichever dogs are out. So absolutely incredible changes. I do think that this is a straight buff, in particular to the frost side of things. You used to just summon frost wolves that did their own frost damage. Now you get a buff to your frost damage, which will scale off of your hailstorm and ice strike, doubling the damage of your next frost shock that's hailstorm infused, and also getting the overflowing maelstrom, which is going to give you 10 stacks of maelstrom weapon detonation when you press hailstorm. So all that damage will be buffed by 15, 30, 45% maybe if you have 3 frost dogs out. That's way more damage than the frost wolves just doing their own little auto attacks and giving you extra frost damage. So absolutely incredible stuff. I do think that on the whole, this is a massive buff to the Shaman tree. You're going to get Lashing Flames back, which makes your Flame Shocks do an incredible amount of damage. Alpha Wolf is now buffing both Crash Lightning and Chain Lightning, so big quality of life there. The Legacy of the Frost Witch complete overhaul, I think, is a great change for the build, and is going to really emphasize a physical build for Enhancement Shaman, which we haven't seen in years, and I'm really excited for that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about these big changes that have come through for Enhancement Shaman? Are you excited about them? Do you think it kind of nerfs the Enhancement Shaman playstyle right now? Let me know what you think in those comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.